In June of 1889, one of the most recognizable art pieces was created out of hope in a lonely asylum. The art depicts a deep blue night sky, illuminated by swirls of light revealing a small, quiet village. Starry Night, painted by Vincent van Gogh, is internationally praised for the raw expression of the artist's inner turmoil during the post-impressionism art period. Van Gogh suffered from various mental illnesses during his lifetime, which was cut short due to a self-inflicted gunshot. He was suspected of bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, and many other conditions, but in addition to his mental state, Van Gogh experienced the world in an entirely different way through synesthesia. Synesthesia is the unexplainable connection between the senses, often characterized by abilities such as seeing sound as colors and textures, or tasting words when reading or hearing them. According to JSTOR, over 25% of synesthetes, people who experience synesthesia, have artistic careers. Famous synesthetes include Billie Eilish, Franz Liszt, and John Mayer, among others. To get a scope of how large this topic is, there are over 65 documented subcategories of synesthesia. The most researched of these include grapheme color synesthesia, which is the most common. According to the National Library of Medicine, this type of synesthesia is triggered by achromatic graphemes. Achromatic graphemes are colorless letters, numbers, or dates. Synesthetes with grapheme color synesthesia see the achromatic graphemes in color, activating the regions of the brain linked to sight perception. On the other hand, chromesthesia is triggered by sound or music. The synesthete involuntarily experiences textures, colors, or shapes in accordance with hearing different sounds. Associators see the colors inside their mind. Opposite to that, projectors can see the colors externally. Both associators and projectors are valid forms of sensory crossover. A synesthete could associate the musical note D sharp with the color purple, but does not associate the color purple with D sharp. This is called unidirectional synesthesia. When a synesthete sees 7 as red, and red is the number 7, this is called bidirectional synesthesia. There is a scientific theory that all humans are born as synesthetes. According to the National Library of Medicine, infants have an increased number of neural connections between the areas associated with the senses. Research suggests that synesthesia remains through adulthood as a result of decreased neural pruning, but non-synesthetes lose those neural connections. This hypothesis is most accepted by the scientific community, supported by the already existing connection between sight and hearing. In the typical person, these two senses are connected via the movements in the ear and eye muscles. The eye movements excite the neurons in charge of processing sound. To facilitate the response, neurotransmitters act as signaling molecules. Another highly debated topic about synesthesia is the mode of inheritance. About 40% of synesthetes have a first-degree relative with the condition. The condition is possibly inherited through the X chromosome, but the pattern is extremely confusing, as one study found that 2 male synesthetes inherited synesthesia from another male relative. However, the National Library of Medicine says that there is a significant gender gap. Females are much more likely to be synesthetes in an overwhelming 6-to-1 ratio. Regardless of gender, synesthesia has several psychological benefits. Synesthetes can foster creativity and inspiration from their condition, allowing them to excel in art or music. Other benefits include better memory retention and easier memorization. Synesthesia has also been linked to conditions like autism, so there are both advantages and disadvantages. Music, color, and emotion have been connected through different cultures and genres. Color and music association is often shared by region or culture for this reason, despite the individuality of what people experience when hearing music. Moreover, different eras of music, such as the Baroque or modern eras, have similarities in the music they are associated with. Also, major music is generally associated with more saturated colors, and minor music is associated with dull colors. To further explore this topic, we surveyed dozens of ordinary non-synesthete people. Participants took 10 songs representative of 10 different music genres and connected each to a color and an emotion. The genres used were surf rock, EDM, punk, R&B, heavy metal, blues, jazz, rap, classical, and country. Participants had 24 color options, which were red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and pink, and their more saturated and less saturated counterparts.
I know you thinking that you about to get the last laugh, but what you doing if this really was your last night?
The results are as follows. Though many responses lacked a trend, there were a few genres that were generally agreed upon by participants. For instance, almost 50% of participants chose that punk and heavy metal genres were dark red. The electronic dance music genre was agreed to be more saturated and neon, for example, and the classical composition was agreed to lean toward the pastel and less saturated side. Either way, the emotional experience of the surveyees most likely impacted their choices. Through our experiments and similarly conducted ones in JSTOR, it is clear that even in non-synesthetes, the connection between color, music, and emotion is an important part of our experience in the physical world. These links between the senses and emotion are critical to understanding how we perceive reality. However, we have many gaps in knowledge when it comes to how synesthetes experience the world. Synesthesia is extremely under-researched and requires much more time and attention from scientists. Synesthetes still make up 2 to 4% of the global population, meaning that 166 to 332 million people remain unsure of how their perception of the world really works.